teach the art.
You still they never had this.
Number one, never wanna run about the gun. I wasn't licensed to have one. The minute they see me, fear me. I'm the epitome, a public enemy. Use, abuse without clues. I refuse to blow fuse. They even had it on the news.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
Back when I wrote y'all, yes.
Amy Robach and TJ Holmes has a podcast. Have any of you listened to it? I'm
have.
just curious. You've listened to it?
Oh,
on
yes.
purpose?
Of many
You've listened
times.
on purpose?
Karen, there's something
You are
you
so
know
messy.
about me.
You
I
are so
love
messy.
mess. If it's
You
nothing
know, I
else,
can tell.
if it's nothing else you know about me, if it's a mess, I want to see what it's about. And they kind of chilled out. They changed the podcast because when it started, it was just about the relationship, which is exactly why I came. Like I was
Right.
like, oh, y'all gonna
That's
talk
what that
about it?
was.
Because I would have advised y'all not to. I would like if I
Right.
was
If you ever want to work again somewhere other than your basement or the closet in one of your apartments,
Right.
y'all be quiet.
like this.
That's all you need to do.
The optics on this is weird. Y'all meeting up in a strange hotel room to talk about y'all's clandestine relationship that got exposed before the public and lost y'all jobs. Y'all sure y'all want to keep this going? You don't want to just talk about like the weather or whatever. And now they are doing topical shows. Like if you tune in now, it's more formatted. Not that this relationship stuff
wanted
wouldn't
that,
come
though?
out.
They
I always thought so. I think the morning show people, I have a tremendous amount of respect for their ability to do that job because I think that is a skill. Everyone thinks they're a nice person that can do that job. I think there's a handful of people on earth that can really do what them people do. Like there's a reason Tamron Hall, like when they got rid of her, it was like, she gonna be fine. She know how to do this. Okay. Sit anyone in front of her. They just gonna seem like they friends for an hour. Everybody don't got it. And I thought TJ had that for sure. I was like, he's a little smooth, but it was, it's like, hey, the black guy at work you want to be friends with. And then this came out and I said, oh, brother.
bending people over the fax machine. Yeah.
Now you Lutellus. Now you Lutellus.
Lutellus out here.
They not gonna see you the same, Lutellus. So I wanted to see how he could get it back, and I don't know if he's ever getting it back because he went on there and just told his business. So,
well, in their latest podcast that I didn't listen to, they and it's called Morning Run.
Yep.
Morning Run with Amy and TJ. In case y'all want to be messy as well. Well, on this one of these latest episodes, they are finally moved in together. They moved in together.
Okay.
And you know about this. Okay. So, but it's temporary because Amy was living with her daughter, her 19-year-old daughter, Ava. They were living together. And she said, I've enjoyed the time. It's been a little different, but I've liked it. Holmes said about living with her. He's 47. She's 51. Not that that matters.
Right.
Mind your business. But the reason why Amy moved out of the apartment with Ava is because Ava's apartment was infested with roaches.
Oh.
Yes.
See, I wouldn't have told my child's business like that.
I wouldn't have either.
You think
because
that's a cultural? You think that's a cultural thing?
I feel like the stigma of roaches only is attached to black people, as if
other
people don't have roaches.
A cultural thing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have told nobody.
I wouldn't have either, because here's what I want to tell you: every apartment I've lived in had roaches, but not my apartment. Every building I've lived in, the roaches knew this was not the place to come. As a matter of fact, my whole line, the exterminator would come by, and I didn't like the chemicals, and he said, your whole line is infested. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want you coming and spraying. I got this. The one crawled through the little, we call that the drain.
Yeah.
I beat his ass so bad, and I told his ghost to go back and tell all the motherfuckers in the wall, this ain't the place to come, okay?
Yeah, I don't play with bugs.
Bring your funky antenna, and I don't do roaches, right? So
I don't play
that. I feel like if her daughter's apartment is infested, they not very clean.
Yeah,
they aren't very clean.
I don't know why you would, but that's their whole style of their show. They always telling you something that you like. I don't know why you would tell anybody that. So I guess maybe this is just in line with what they've been doing, but yeah, that's wild or whatever. But good for them. The thing that was kind of bothersome for me listening, and I had to stop listening after a while. But if you ever go on like a double date with somebody, and the other couple, you can tell they like fighting, but they not fighting. They passive aggressive fighting. You know, where it's like it's like what would you guys like to order, you know, to drink or whatever? He's like, oh, let me get an old fashioned. And then it's like, you sure you want to start drinking this early? You know how, you know, you have to work tomorrow. And you're like, oh, this is not really about this one drink. This, like, whatever's happening.
There's something else going on.
Yeah. And so they had little comments towards each other sometimes where I'd be like, now see, I want the real tea. Like, what are you really saying? Because I could feel the passive aggressive, like, oh, well, you know, TJ, sometimes he says things and we don't like that. And you're like, oh, what is it? And so that's why I stopped listening. I want the real truth.
Well, the real truth is they fight so they can have makeup sex. I feel like that's the whole point of the relationship. Sense. I'm gonna mind my business, but that's what I'm saying, and I'm gonna move on. But I thought it was fascinating that she told that her daughter had roaches and it was infested with roaches. And I'm wondering, like, to have the privilege to not care,
must be nice. Must be nice.
Because you know we ain't never telling people we got roaches.
Absolutely not.
Unless one crawl out your pocketbook at.
You'll never know a Black person got roaches unless you go to their house. Like, that's the only way you're gonna find out. Because I've never seen a Black person that's like, yeah, I got roaches. Like, you gotta go there and be like, oh.
Actually, sometimes the super meticulous people who dress the best got just everything's meticulous and clean. In the house could be something different going on. That tends to be a thing.
But then, but it's not like they would tell you. You would still have to catch them in the act.
I did. I was reported a long time ago, and I had to do I was doing a Black History thing, and I had to go talk to a Black History elder. They were like in their 80s in an apartment in Manhattan, and I go in and I sit down and I'm talking with her, and I look, and the floor was moving. The whole floor.
No,
the whole floor.
No,
the whole floor.
No. And then so and I'm burned her house down. Did she you get her out first, or you just
no, I didn't.
let her go up?
She just burnt. No, I didn't. The whole building. No, I sat there. I'm like, I'm being respectful, but I'm petrified. And then I start looking around, because at that point I'm like, oh, it's everywhere. And I grabbed my bag. I like eased my bag over, because I'm like, the last thing I need to do, because it was all kinds. There was the little baby ones. There was some light-skinned roaches, because roaches got different, there was the German, there was the dark-skinned roaches. There was an albino. They had so many roaches. I think there was an albino roach in the mix.
It was a Sean King roach in there.
There was a Sean King roach. It had a kufi. I said, what the hell is happening?
It was raising money for the other roaches.
The other roaches still waiting for their check. But I was sitting there. I said, oh, my God. And I have 5 more questions. I can't leave. I can't.
I would have been asking them questions fast as hell.
Oh, my God. I played it so cool. When I got out to my car, I didn't get in my car. I ran around my car, shook my bag. I did the Running Man. I did the Cabbage Patch. I was in there doing all kind. I was jumping and just making sure.
That's the other thing. How messed up is it in your house if your roaches don't got shame?
But she was out. They just there. It's daytime. Because it wasn't even night. The lights were on.
I've seen like, the unfortunate, like, oh damn, a roach got out. But if you in somebody's house that don't have roaches, they roaches normally be ashamed, like, oh shit, you saw me, and they run off somewhere.
Right.
For them roaches to be out there like,
I want no trouble. I'm just here visiting.
Right. For them roaches to just be on the floor like, hey, so answer her question. What I want to know what you was doing. I want to know. What was happening during 68?
My days are cooler, nights are warmer, and I put the blame on you. Time moves slow, but my heart beats faster. When these eyes are looking right at you, you give me something to believe in, just what I needed. You're the closest.